Method 2, use the LCD, and when I say use the LCD of all the little fractions. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply numerator and denominator of the big fraction by the LCD of all the little fractions, and then we'll simplify. Let me just show you what I mean. Okay, so notice what we have. Does everybody see the big fraction? What is the numerator of the big fraction? Yeah, the numerator of the big fraction is this whole thing, 4 divided by x squared plus 3 divided by x to the 4th. What's the denominator of the big fraction? That guy, right? 3 divided by x minus 3 divided by x cubed. So what are some of the little fractions involved? 3 divided by x is a little fraction. 4 divided by x squared. So everybody understands what I mean by there's only one big fraction, right? And there's a bunch of little fractions. Okay, so here's this is tricky. This is sly. This is clever. So we're going to multiply by 1. We're going to multiply the big fraction by 1 in a very specific way. We're going to take the LCD of all the little fractions as if we were going to add them together. In other words, we're going to take the LCD. Okay, what are the little denominators? There's x squared. There's x to the 4th. So just going from left to right, x squared, x to the 4th, x, and x cubed. They're all powers of x. So what's the LCD of all? It's just one object. What is the LCD of all of those? X to the 4th. It's the highest power of x. So the LCD of all the little fractions, that's what we're talking about here, in this case is x to the 4th. So here's the sly part. We're going to multiply the numerator and denominator of the big fraction. You know what? Let me make another copy of this so that I don't mess up the original statement here. So we're going to multiply the big fraction, numerator and denominator, by x to the 4th. So what am I really multiplying by? 1. This is a big fraction on par, so this division bar is kind of on the same level as this big division bar. Okay, so what we're going to do then is we're going to multiply the big numerator, you got to put parentheses around it, times x to the 4th. We're going to multiply the big denominator in the big fraction by x to the 4th. Now we're really multiplying overall by 1, so we're not changing the value of anything, right? But what's it going to do when I distribute x to the 4th to the big numerator and to the big denominator? What's going to happen to all those little denominators? They're going to go away. They're going to cancel. Check it out. When I distribute here and here, really it's x to the 4th over 1. So that you multiply straight across in each fraction of the distribution. So you really get, what really happens is that this x to the 4th lands in the numerator here as a factor and here. Long story short, that's what happens. So you end up with 4 times x to the 4th over x squared in this first guy when you do the distribution. You end up plus, so plus, this plus right here, plus 3 times x to the 4th over x to the 4th when you distribute to this little fraction. And so you're going to get cancellation there, and the little fractions are going to disappear. Can you tell me what we'd get in the denominator when we distribute x to the 4th here and here? It lands in both little numerators, so you get 3 x to the 4th over x minus 3 x to the 4th over x cubed. Stare at that. I don't want to move on until you understand what I just did. We're going to simplify in the next step. Everybody see what I did? Any questions? Yeah.
Why do you only multiply it by the little numerators?
Okay, because of the way fraction multiplication works. So when you, let's do that very first one. When you multiply, when you distribute to that, this guy, right? When you distribute to that guy, the x to the 4th, it looks like that if you show that step, right? But it's really, okay, it's really x to the 4th over 1. How do you multiply fractions? Straight across. So you get 4x to the fourth over x squared times 1, which is x squared. So you get this. Okay? So it really goes back to arithmetic and how you multiply fractions together. All right, now look at what happens. How many times does x squared go into x to the fourth? What's left over? So you get 4x squared from that first upper left-hand little fraction. So you get 4x squared left here, and then plus, what's 3x to the fourth divided by x to the fourth? 3. So that big numerator becomes just 4x squared plus 3. No little fractions in sight. What about this denominator? What does 3x to the fourth divided by x equal? Yeah, you just cancel one of these x's with one of these. You're left with 3x cubed. What about minus 3x to the fourth divided by x cubed? 3 of these factors canceled with 3 of these. You're left with 1 in the numerator, so minus 3x. Now, okay, so let's take a look at this. I could factor out a 3x in the denominator, right? But does it do me any good? Is it going to cancel with anything in the numerator? Nah, so I could just leave it as is.